Here we are, Rachel.
We are. Are you? You're all stretched out and ready to go. I have my Grinch slippers on.
You have your Grinch slipper, or slippers. You have a Grinch thing right here. Him on the mountain. You have a Grinch snow globe right there, and then you have limited edition Grinch Adidas sneakers and a Grinch Christmas tree and a big Grinch. No one can see behind the camera, but a big Grinch statue that's just staring at us right now. And take it even one step further, you have a package of Hershey's Kisses that is Grinch themed. Rachel. Oh no, those are avocados. Never mind. Or are they? No, that's Grinch. Nope, and you have like a makeup bag or something that has a bunch of mini Grinch heads on it. Rachel, I'm starting to think you like the film The Grinch.
So I think I might like Green Guys because my favorite
Green Guys
non-Christmas movie is Shrek. So I don't know what's happening, but I take it upon myself every year to turn my condo / house into the Grinch cave.
Yeah. And it's working.
What hasn't been done yet is I haven't put up my Grinch decorations on the tree. Mm-hmm. We also haven't gone over all of the Grinch stuff in my office.
Yes, there's even more. It's
and my Grinch blanket. And also, this is now a fantastic time to announce that maybe later this week I will be dressing up as the Grinch.
Mm-hmm. Fellas, she likes green guys. If you wanna slide into Rachel's DMs, make sure to paint yourself green first.
And also, you gotta make me dinner and
yeah. Well, and even on top of that, because I get emails from local theaters and an independent theater that's close to me is playing the Grinch, and it's almost like, well, now I know where I'm taking Rachel for a night out. So you're a simple woman with simple tastes, and those simple tastes are the Grinch.
Exactly, and it's funny because the guy that I'm seeing right now has never watched Shrek because he said that's his never have I ever thing when they play the drinking games.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. But he's I guess now we're well past that, so I'm gonna bully him into watching it.
He'll get a kick out. The movie Shrek
is so funny.
It holds up. It's as entertaining as it was as a kid watching. I remember watching in the theater. It's as entertaining.
Elf and the Grinch with Jim Carrey came out within, I think, 2 or 3 years of each other.
Yeah.
20 years. Yeah, because the Grinch came out in 2000 and Elf came out in 2003 because this is the 20-year anniversary of Elf. And I have an Elf figurine that I haven't unpacked yet. That's the only non-Grinch thing that will be in my apartment. Mm-hmm. And the Christmas tree that my grandfather and I built. But I don't know. The Grinch is just so me as a human being. Should Mike dress up as Cindy Lou Who is the question here.
Sure, I'll do it. We're gonna have some fun costumes and something for the holiday season, if you will. I will wear the yellow tights.
Oh my God, Mike wearing yellow tights. Let's go.
For what's it called? For Buddy the Elf. That'd be great. But Cindy Lou Who, it's funny. Cindy, I'm pretty sure the actress who played Cindy Lou Who is a punk rocker these days.
What?
She's the front woman of a punk rock band, a hardcore
That's kind of amazing.
She was also, I'm pretty sure she was on Gossip Girl too. I think it's Taylor Momsen, I think is her name or something. But all I know is that she is super with the intense dark eye makeup
damn,
all that kind of stuff.
Speaking of Christmas themed stuff, we're gonna release the second Mike's Meals for One. And I'm going to do... Mike can vouch that my condo smells pretty good right now.
Rachel decided to brown butter right before we started recording. So this place smells like a friggin' cookie factory right now. It's great.
I'm making the family recipe from Germany Christmas cookies. Mm-hmm. And yeah, part of that is you have to brown the butter with the sugar and
it takes
all this stuff. And
3 days.
Dough has to cure for 2 days.
It's crazy.
And it has to rest for 12 hours. And then I can bake it. So it's a process, but I mean, it's maybe I'll do a video on how to make those. If not, we'll do Christmas themed baking.
Oh, we'll do a Christmas themed, even aside from baking, we'll do a Christmas themed, Mike's Meals for One. My goal for Mike's Meals for One is to do a full, I think our magnum opus for it. And I don't know if we should hit our magnum opus 3 episodes.
I don't think so.
But is to do a full turkey dinner. Because I can do it.
So maybe
next Thanksgiving or or that will be I will have to like take over your apartment for a whole day basically.
Or maybe what we'll do is we'll go to the industry, like we'll go to the kitchen, like at my house, and film this.
Like, but that's the goal. Yeah. But the Grinch is he's I think he packs more punch than he looks. He's same with Shrek. He's more than he is on the surface. And I think a team that sort of encapsulates that is the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, what a transition. I was like, where is he going?
Yeah, that's my favorite. My sweet spot is having no idea where I'm going and then finding it, the last second.
Immediately.
But
it's not even like a "this is fine" segment, because actually in Pittsburgh, pretty much everything is fine.
Except their record.
And their power play, which we'll get to. Wow.
So that is basically their Achilles heel. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, like people this is just because they are 11-10-2. So you would look at that and go like, oh, that's a very mid team, if you will.
Yeah, mid. That's a great word.
Like maybe not struggling, but just like mid, like right in the middle. But you look under the hood a little bit, you see that their heart grows 3 sizes, or was 3 sizes too small. Their power play is
3 sizes too small.
But like they have a +12 goal differential.
Hey, that's good.
The 7th best expected goals at 5-on-5 in the NHL as a team.
Also good.
Tristan Jarry's rocking a .915 save
and
percentage.
Scoring now.
And he scored a goalie goal. Incredible. First goalie in Pittsburgh Penguins history.
Shout out Tristan Jarry. He said, y'all aren't going to win. I'll do it.
Sure, I'll do it. On top of that, every star player basically is either at a point per game or above it. Like Sidney Crosby's having a great year. Evgeny Malkin's having a great year. Erik Karlsson, on top of that, is continuing to be as good, if not better, than he was last year when he scored 100 points and won the Norris.
So my model has his value higher this year than last year, but the reason he won the Norris last year is because of all the points.
Yes.
Now, LOL, I looked this morning and my model has Cale Makar projected for 121 points.
He's on pace for it.
That is a defenseman, which would be categorically absurd. That's coffee or territory. That's not.
Did they even get I don't think they even reached that level.
I think Coffee did.
Paul Coffey had 120 points.
I think he had 1.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, or it was like the points per game because they didn't play 82.
Yeah,
it was
they played like
the
74
same.
Or something.
But yeah, so if you look at Pittsburgh, 11-10-2, but 5-on-5, they have the 7th best expected goals, and not to mention, they have the highest expected goals for created at 5-on-5 outside of Edmonton. So they're second. They're creating more than 3 goals per game expected at 5-on-5 this year.
Rachel, I just said did Paul Coffey have a 120 point season? In 1983-84, he put up 40 goals and 86 assists for 126 points. The next year, the next year, 37 goals, 84 assists for 121 points.
So he was over an assist per game. Is that good?
It's pretty good. Then the next year, 48 goals, 90 assists for 138 points. Paul Coffey was pretty good. Which
makes it even funnier when that child was telling, I know what I'm doing, coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you?
I don't know. I don't know if you know how to score like 140 points as a defenseman.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was the 80s, but still. But yeah, the Pittsburgh Penguins are...
Yeah, that's still ridiculous.
You look under the hood. This is a great hockey team. It's just they're 11-10-2, and it seems like their Achilles heel. It's that pesky power play.
The thing that should be the best, because when you consider that the 5 players playing on their power play could be any combination of Malkin, Crosby, Letang, Karlsson, and Gensel, 4 of which are
Rust.
Slam dunk Hall of Famers.
And even then you want to put
Ricard Raquel
or Brian Rust in there.
Raquel's hurt.
So you put
it doesn't even matter.
You put Brian Rust in there. That's a point per game player.
But this is, how Ovechkin stayed out for 2 minutes still.
Yeah.
Stayed out, as if he still doesn't do that. He does.
As if anyone had a choice to pull him off the ice either way.
Yeah. So Ovechkin, if I'm Mike Sullivan, I obviously consider switching things up. I actually would consider throwing Erik Karlsson below the goal line, because if you look at his ability to pass the puck, you have an elite passer in Letang at the top, and then you have an elite passer in Karlsson below the goal line. Malkin and Crosby and Gensel Crosby obviously in the bumper. Then you have Malkin and Gensel. You now have one-timer positions at 4 different spots, and you have an elite passer below the goal line. I think that might be a way they could switch it up. But if I'm Mike Sullivan, I'm like, you lot are out there for 1 minute and 45 seconds because we're loading up one unit and you're going to figure it out. And I would be holding, I don't even think he needs to run it because I think Sid and like that group is pretty like accountable enough where they can go out for an hour and sort their crap out.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Letang at the top and Carlson at the, like behind the net, basically, good luck dealing with that passing.
Well, if you're going to have two defensemen on one pair,
this is the exception.
This is the exception. Yeah. Like you might as well like switch it up. Like I really don't think it serves any purpose to have two like elite passers as defensemen, like at the top, kind of. That just sort of like, why not?
You're not taking advantage of it. It's not like a Caberlet McCabe situation where one guy's got a one-timer and the other guy only passes. Like it's different.
These are two sort of like pass first players. Like Carlson's been known for his assists, maybe not his like incredible goal. He still scores a lot of goals, but that's not his main thing. And it seemed like what I've noticed a lot, and our former co-host Jesse Marshall has been banging the drum about this forever, is that like the way that you're right, like the way that they situate themselves, they have this umbrella type thing that like goes against everything they do at 5-on-5 that works so well.
Yeah.
Like Jesse always like, I don't understand how the Penguins at 5-on-5, they drive to the net, they push the puck towards the net like crazy at 5-on-5. And then the power play comes and they just get around in like this umbrella type sort of.
And they shouldn't even be playing an umbrella based on the personnel they have. Exactly. It shouldn't even be an umbrella.
Yeah. But like, I love that idea of it's almost like the playmaking version of putting Char in front of the net, right? Like use the defense, like you have like an elite sort of player with an elite skill set, like use that skill set, even if it doesn't fit the conventional norm for what his position should be. If Erik Karlsson's
not a conventional defenseman.
No, he's not. Erik Karlsson was doing like alley-oop passes in the NHL, like it's, so if you're gonna.
It's funny because we teased talking about Pittsburgh last week.
Yes.
And I got a DM from an AGM, like an egg account that's an AGM. That's like, don't you dare discuss how to fix their power play. They don't need help. Sorry, I didn't know this, so don't come at me. But you look at Pittsburgh and it's like, okay, they're finally getting good goaltending. So yeah, that's paid off. Jeff Carter is old and dead and broken.
Yeah, listen.
We need to take
a second to talk about how Jeff Carter is like he's playing a. But
Riley Smith has been an unbelievable acquisition.
Oh, and that was
10 out of 10 by Dubas and Co. There.
That was like those acquisitions where it's a really good team that clearly can't afford to keep their luxury pieces. So you get like, in no world should Riley Smith
cost you the same as Nikita Zadorov.
Less.
Yeah. Like,
because Zadorov had an extra fifth in there. All Riley Smith cost was a third.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who.
Which is why for everyone, like we're not going to talk about the deal, but for everyone being like, oh, like they gave up absolutely nothing. You could have had Riley Smith.
For Zadorov. Yeah. Like it's just, I think that this is. Listen, Dubas had an interesting offseason. Like there were some deals that I think were really good, and some deals were, well, I mean, like the Carlson trade is just an all-timer.
All-time trade.
Like that will go down. That like if the Pens were even a little, like if they were like 13-10-2, like we would, that's all we'd hear.
No, if they were 13-8-2.
Yeah, like that's all we'd hear about. To shed basically every bad contract on the roster. Yes, give up a first, but like to
shed every bad contract and get Eric.
Like keep in mind he shed Michael Granlund, who even though it was only even though it was only like for this year and next at $5 million.
Awful.
I'm in the camp that like that, based on his play recently, that's like a top 5 worst contract in the league.
Yep.
Because we talked about the Seth Jones and all that, which are bad, but like, dude, for a team in that situation, and also Jan Ruda Alan Walsh, he's now
not very good,
but it just didn't work at all.
Yeah,
shedding that, like that ability, he didn't give up a top prospect.
He was like, here's our first round pick because we're getting the guy who just won the Norris. Thank you for coming. Goodbye.
Who also scored 100 points.
Yeah.
And on top of that, hey, cool. He's under contract for another 4 years.
Which matches up, I'm pretty sure, to Malkin's deal. Matches up to one of them. There's one of them that matches.
I believe it's Malkin's because he re-signed. Not Letang's. he signed a 6-year extension.
That was wild.
But like, it's like you keep Letang in Pittsburgh. If you have to give him 8 years, you do it. Who cares?
Yeah, and then you LTIR him because he's broken beyond belief and has had a stroke.
Because he's already like 182 years old. Yeah. And so you have but
there's no excuse for a power play with that level of talent on it to be this poor. And I think when you evaluate, I think they're getting too cute. You need to be more direct with the puck. If you're going to be creative, throw Carlson behind the net. No team's ever done that look. And Pittsburgh's in a position where they could legitimately try that. And because it hasn't been done before, teams are going to struggle to defend it if they can execute it. And there's no reason to think that they shouldn't be able to execute it. I really think that they're overthinking this a little bit. And maybe we just need to go back to like...
They're losing the forest in the trees here. Like they're clearly trying to... You can tell I weirdly tuned into the Pittsburgh Penguins just because I really like their team. And like, I see the news conferences after every game, and it's kind of the same thing where it's just, you can tell that they're really trying to make something work and they're pushing it. Whereas just you have some of the most talented players who have ever stepped on a hockey surface. Like, let them cook,
Yeah, exactly.
Just let them cook.
The Penguins, I do like to, right off the top, your question, are they a sleeping giant? If their power play gets going, oh my God, like the league will be on notice.
Dude, like league average for a power play is what, like 20%? Probably like maybe
18 to 22, yeah.
So like, let's say they get up to 19%.
That's terrifying with their 5-on-5 play. If Jari continues to play 9-15 hockey, that's terrifying.
If their goaltending stays the same,
yeah,
and he's a 9-15, but their power play improves to literally just smack dab league average, that's like a home ice advantage team in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's second in the Metro right now. I mean, the Devils are in big trouble. The Rangers look fantastic. Carolina is, Washington is going to fall out. Like, let's just...
I don't know how the heck they're doing what they're doing.
It's weird. Especially because Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, and Oshie are their 3 worst players right now. Like, I don't know how that's happening.
Who would have predicted
Alexei
that,
Protas and Anthony Mantha are their best players right now.
Anthony Mantha, who was like a healthy scratch a lot of times last year, who they're like trying desperately. He was on that list of worst contracts in the league.
Not so much this year.
Not anymore. And like, they're getting good.
Pittsburgh has Pittsburgh could easily go on a run here if their power play heats up. Dude, easily.
They literally, if they do, I think if they do what you said, like this is a team that could absolutely run the table throughout the rest of the year.
There we go.
You could be starting the playoffs at PPG Paints Arena. Speaking of arenas that have been decked out in interesting and awesome colors, the Boston Bruins. You want to hate the Bruins, right?
Because their owner is
a crazy person. They've been good forever. They're very bombastic. That like no matter which fan of which hockey team you are, the Bruins have bullied your team at some point.
They also have Jack Edwards.
They have Jack Edwards, who's like, who's basically calling opponents fat left, right, and center.
Not basically, absolutely.
No, he actually is. Like stuff like that. They were every year they're supposed to fall off, and every year they continue to be incredible. This year particularly, it was like, this is the year, and then freaking Matthew Poitras comes out of nowhere.
Matty Poitras!
Like, stuff like that. But you want to hate the Bruins, and yet everything they do off the ice, maybe not individually as a player, like it's specific if you wear number 17, but everything they do off the ice as a team.
Want a fun story about Matty Poitras quickly?
Yeah, hit me.
So he was drafted in 2022. I heard a couple teams were like really high on him. And then there were a couple teams that, LOL, this is not going to age well, had them on their do not draft list because he's small. Not a great look.
How many times
are we going to have
this going to happen? Like, how many times
the
Zach Benson, Cole Caulfield,
Lane
Hudson, Cole Perfetti, like guys like that.
The receipts I'm going to have if Lane Hudson hits,
and he will,
are going to be absurd. Because keep in mind, I was employed when this was going on.
I remember
Frank Nazar
was at the draft when this was happening.
Lane Hudson. There are a few guys where if they hit the receipts I'm going to have, like I will be able, it'll be like that King thing where they just with
like,
the scroll.
Let us read. Like it. Like I could basically hear you yelling. Like F. Like except the word.
Yeah.
From like the Canucks suite in the Bell Center, because it was like
Famous
he's right
Casey
there.
When the Devils took him too, I was like, damn it.
Like Like, how many times this happens? Logan Stankoven, another guy who's just like, there's no way that guy
leading the AHL in points per game for players like under 22 or something.
There is no way that guy should have been a second round pick.
No, but he's small.
So like,
you know who else is small?
Who?
Connor Bedard.
He went first.
I can't wait for somebody to be like, oh, he's too small to be a superstar. Cannot wait. Like, I saw an argument today that he shouldn't win the Calder Trophy. And I'm like, well, he's gonna score 40 goals.
But
playing with literally no one. It's not a discussion at this point.
Taylor Hall's out for the year and Corey Perry
is gone. He's playing with Anthony Beauvillier, who is a cap dump.
And who just got there.
Right. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, but if Connor Bedard puts up 40 goals as someone who is barely considered an adult in North America, he's winning the Calder.
Yes, but I did see like at least if we're gonna talk, like, I think he's definitely gonna win the Calder, but friggin' Brock Faber should be number 2. Like
he was not even available to be bet on until this morning, and now they put him on there at plus 4,000. I had him at the beginning of the year before they took him off the board at plus 12,000 because I was like, first of all, I don't think he's going to win. So I only put $2 on it.
Yeah. Even just name factor, like Connor Bedard scores 25 goals. They'll give him the Calder. Like
yeah, but Brock Faber deserves a ton of credit.
He's their best defenseman.
He should absolutely be in contention for the top 5, if not being nominated.
He should definitely be nominated.
But like, well, he's got to continue.
Well, yes.
No, don't forget there's Logan Cooley.
But if it happens today, like Brock Faber's like the best defenseman on the Wild right now.
Yeah, there's Connor Bedard,
he's 19,
but then there's Logan Cooley, who's got the name factor. You've got Brock Faber, Joseph Wall. Don't forget, is a rookie.
It's true,
right? That's a huge issue. If Devin Levi comes back up and takes the Sabres on a run into the playoffs, you can bet your bottom dollar he's going to be in there, right? I think the Anaheim guys are going to drop out, but watch out for Leo Carlson because he looks fantastic.
Leo Carlson won't get nominated because he won't play enough, like because of his
back and forth,
like load management. But like
he might end up being the second best player in the draft.
Speaking of which, and hey, he was picked second overall, so there you go. But speaking of which, with Devin Levi, did you see the eagle head?
He's standing like this
with like this dude, whatever.
That is not sanitary, by the way.
It's definitely not. Whatever the Rochester Americans are doing down there, keep doing it, because their thing basically is after the game, like, you know, like the Leafs have the belt where you get like the wrestling belt,
and the Rangers have the kepi.
They have like the Broadway cap.
The Broadway cap.
I believe the Golden Knights, it's either the Golden Knights or the Penguins, have like a gladiator helmet kind of you put on.
Yeah.
The Rochester Americans is this like eagle mascot head that you put on, and so all I saw was Devin Levi, like he's in half of his equipment, and then he's just got the head of an eagle after he
looks
put
amazing.
up like an incredible performance. It's great, but
let's get back
circling back to the Boston Bruins. So we love to point out the fact that the NHL basically like banned, well, not basically, they banned specialty jerseys, so like Pride jerseys.
They even told players they couldn't use Pride tape until Travis Dermott called their bluff on that one.
A guy on a 2-way deal apparently topples the NHL's like crazy. And so if you looked at it, so the Boston Bruins had their Pride night last night, and
their arena staircase was painted in the Pride colors. So the organization as a whole said, bet.
It looked like Rainbow Road from Mario Kart. Like it looked,
right.
it was amazing.
See, I actually know what that reference is.
There you go. All right.
That's the only one I know. But like, and then, so Jake DeBrusk, Brad Marchand, Charlie McAvoy, Linus Ullmark, all using Pride tape in warm-up. And then Morgan Geekie, God bless that boy, said, F your rules, and he used Pride tape as shin pad tape
on his socks.
So there was no getting around it. You were gonna see it because he's a center, so he's taking draws. And when you have to zoom in on the player taking the draw, guess where their stick's resting? On their shin pads.
Yep. So
brilliant by him. 12 out of 10.
Look, the Bruins, they did everything right this weekend because
they nailed it.
Because
everything.
Not only did they nail like everything, and I want to give a shout out to Chanel Keenan,
Queen.
Shout out.
That's our girl.
She was on the NESN broadcast, an advocate for basically to make hockey accessible to everybody.
And have you seen her Twitter where it's like she can barely get tickets to a Bruins game because she has to buy the accessibility ones.
Yeah.
And like most of the time those either aren't available or they're astronomically
they're crazy expensive.
So for her to go on the broadcast, representation matters. And like think about how many like little girls
who
or
are
little boys are going to see
wheelchairs
that are in wheelchairs that are going to be like, hey, like there's a spot for me too. And for Chanel to be the voice of it, like couldn't have anybody better.
Exactly. So I want to give a huge shout, and she killed it.
She crushed it as usual.
This person like Chanel is just like, she is the poise of a broadcast veteran, it's incredible. But, and even on the ice, the Bruins, their heart and soul basically respectively retires this season.
Bergeron,
Bergeron and Krejci, the heart and the soul, or you could mix and match whatever one. So Brad Marchand, the guy's been there forever. He gets the captaincy, and he's not only is he producing great, but Brad Marchand this weekend scores the OT winner on Saturday night against the Leafs.
Yep.
So in Toronto. So that's a very key. That's a key point.
It's a key game. It's a key game.
Because they were the Bruins are only 6 points ahead of the Leafs. That could be whittled down to 2 with a regulation win. But then again, it's the Leafs. They're not going to win a regulation.
Not allowed.
But then, so then they travel. They play a back-to-back. So they travel back to Boston.
Yeah, back-to-back with travel.
And Brad Marchand scores a natural hat trick on Sunday. And to top it all off, and he's doing it with a heavy heart because his grandmother passed away on Friday.
So this guy scores 4 goals in the span of 24 hours after his grandmother passes away the 24 hours before that.
Yeah. Man,
talk about heart. Like that is for
that's a Bruin.
The pesky nonsense that we deal with all the time for no matter what, the way he handled the Lucic situation, the way he was part of the whole Mitchell Miller situation, this kind of stuff. Like you want to talk about Boston Bruin.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a Bruin. Charlie McAvoy going out of his way to donate a bunch of stuff and being an advocate for people that are underprivileged. Like he's getting a C after Marchand. You want to talk about picture perfect Boston Bruins. There's 2 right there.
Yeah.
Like
believe me, I was in that scrum. I was asking him questions. Brad Marchand in that Mitchell Miller situation. And him, Bergeron, and Foligno were the 3 guys that they sent out there. And
good choice.
All 3 of those guys you could not have asked better because they kept management accountable because they didn't sweep under the rug, but they're also like, we believe in our culture here. We're gonna. It was great. All right,
and it's clearly a very good one because when you've got that many players saying, "Screw your rules, we're gonna break them anyways,"
I find that
dare Gary Bettman to find Jeremy Jacobs. Good luck with that one.
No way. But like I find like culture, I think is maybe the most overused word in hockey today. Like every time there's a new hire. In any way, it's all like, culture. Oh, we gotta instill a new culture. And I bet if you ask those people, like what culture means, like to define what they think culture means.
I was part of the whole culture situation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like they wouldn't really know, or they
can confirm.
Exactly. Yes, you can confirm that.
Can confirm.
But like the Bruins, when you talk about culture, like they set the standard.
Oh, there's from the owner down. There is a way you do and do not do things, and if you do not do those things, you will not be a Bruin. And
that's why the Mitchell Miller thing was so surprising, is because it was the last team you would expect to pull that crap.
And good on their leadership for being like, this is not okay with us.
They held them accountable, and it was embarrassing, and they took their lumps, and, like, crazy. All right, the Canucks acquired Nikita Zadorov.
AGM Dan Milstein.
Like for
Did
real.
you hear him make a joke on the radio? He's like, they can't afford me. True.
Yeah. Well,
no team can with how much money that guy makes.
Like Kuzmenko, Mikheyev, like everybody. He really is. He's also
Kucherov and Vasilevsky's agent.
Yes.
That right there.
Any Russian player, you can assume that Dan Milstein is their agent.
Ovechkin.
Except Ovechkin. But yeah, just a remarkable agent, man. I will never forget him spoiling the news that the Leafs were calling up Igor Korshkov for his NHL debut. Very, very funny. But anyway,
so they acquire noted client Nikita Zadorov, who then proceeded to play his first game against Calgary.
Yes, like the next day.
Which is hilarious. But Nikita Zadorov is such a great personality. Like I read the piece he did with Chris Faber, who's now Canucks in-house, it's propaganda.
Yeah.
Any team that has that, like,
well, yeah,
that's
like
exactly what it is. And that's fine. You can do that. I don't care.
If every team has an in-house journalist, and they all have to be very.
Yeah, you have to be. Everything gets like.
That's the job.
Exactly. You know? And I thought Chris did a really good job of like pulling out Zadorov's personality, and that is what Faber is really good at. Like he gets players to say things they generally wouldn't say.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a really great job of pulling out Zadorov's personality. And I thought it was a fantastic profile and a really great way for a team to introduce like their newest acquisition. However, the best part of all of this, far and away, not even close, is we get a Chaos Giraffe pair. That's all I care.
The fact that they paired Nikita Zadorov with fellow gigantic human being Tyler Myers together into a pair that is combined is over 13 feet tall is unbelievable.
Did you see what the stanchion called them?
What'd they call them?
The zoo line.
Okay, so
Wyatt, amazing.
That's a phenomenal, and I can't remember who did it, but it was on the broadcast.
Okay.
Someone called the play-by-play guy on the broadcast called them the Twin Towers.
No!
Like, don't do no!
You're not allowed.
He called them the Twin Towers, and I was like, the second I heard that, I'm like,
I called them the Chaos Towers.
Cut to commercial.
Yeah, we're not gonna call them the Twin Towers, guys. Please.
Man. But yeah, look,
I'm looking forward to
just the chaos.
The chaos that comes with it. You know what? They might be good. They might not be. Either way, it's going to be entertaining.
They have a whopping even strength sample size of 11 and a half minutes together.
So we're not going to draw any
which I think we
can
can conclusively say that it's a success after that sample size, because they had almost an 80% expected goals at 5-on-5 with them. So hey, wipe our hands.
Great start.
They are this is clearly the top pair that will lead this team into contention.
No, they have no other defenseman that can help them out.
Not at all.
Zero.
No.
You know what? Like I'm just here for the chaos. That's all I care about. It's entertainment for me, whether it's good or bad. It's gonna be funny.
I just love that anytime that pairing hits the ice, anything can happen.
There is a non-zero chance that in a whistle gets blown and it's number 57 2 minutes for interference and number 16 2 minutes for roughing.
He's number Canucks 91 now.
Or 91. Yeah. Like the Canucks now have to kill a 2-minute 5-on-3 because their entire D pair took a penalty. Like there's a non-zero chance that occurs, and that's the chaos that I'm here for.
Yeah.
That's the entertainment factor here. That's all I want.
Yeah. You'll either see like an incredible job of breaking up a pass with like the crazy reach that both these guys have, or you'll see two just massive human beings standing still.
You'll see them both at the same time running around for big hits.
Yeah, they'll see them both in the same corner trying to hit the same guy. Like I love it. It's great. Like we need more entertainment there. And then finally, right before we start recording, the Winnipeg Jets, they signed Nino Niederreiter to a 3-year contract extension worth $4 million.
So they're in and about what my model had on a 3-year deal. I think I had it at like 3.87 or something like that. And last time I looked, I didn't look this morning, but give me fuel, give me fire, give me Nino Niederreiter.
Absolutely.
Like 14 points in 20 games. The thing is like he's actually fit in really well there. Like he's been able to kind of be like, no pun intended, a Swiss Army knife for them. Because he's not on the top line. Obviously that top line's performing incredibly well, but whether he's on the third line or the second line, like he's had a really good year, and he's been good in his own zone. He's been good on the power play. He's been good at even strength. So he's like, this contract is well earned. And I feel like it's kind of a signal that Winnipeg feels like they've got something here, right? You've got the Scheifele-Hellebuck deals. Now you've got the Niederreiter deal, which isn't going to prohibit them from Cole Perfetti, like that kind of. Josh Morrissey's locked in. I believe Kyle Connor's still locked in.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you look at it and it kind of just seems like, okay, we're handing the team over to like younger players, but we still value the older players, right? You've got Adam Lowry in there, but you know that guys like Dylan Samberg and Cole Perfetti and like it's kind of their opportunity now to step up, because the big money isn't going to the Nino Niederreiters of the world. he's getting a very modest contract, which for a middle six player, that's about what you want to pay.
Kyle Connor, by the way, he's making like 7.1. And he's got
steal.
3 more years left,
a
including this one.
He's going to double that on his next
contract. You know what really... that's crazy.
Yeah, if the cap goes the way that it should.
But you know what? Like what I really like about this is like you look at his underlying numbers. 56.86% expected goals, 54.62% scoring chances for, and then with him on the ice, the Jets have outscored their opponents at 5-on-5, 16-7. So that's over double the amount of you score over 2 times more goals than you give up when this guy's on the ice. His like two-way ability in that forward group has added a ton to their improved team defense this year.
Yep.
I think also taking Blake Wheeler out of that situation has helped out a lot too.
A little bit.
But what I like about this the most, I would say, is that this is a very good player in the middle of like yes, I would say maybe after you're 30 years old, it's maybe not your like prime, but still in the middle of his like productive years.
Yeah, still a useful player.
Still very useful player who clearly likes Winnipeg and didn't charge them a Winnipeg tax to re-sign for multiple years.
That, you know what? That's a great point.
Don't see that happen.
No Winnipeg tax on Connor Hellebuyck.
Yep. No Winnipeg tax on Scheifele.
That was a little bit of an overpayment, but I don't think it was I
think any other team would have given him that.
Exactly.
You know.
So I don't think it's a Winnipeg tax. You're right. No Winnipeg tax on Josh Morrissey.
Nope.
No Winnipeg tax on Kyle Connor.
Yep.
No Winnipeg tax
on
Ehlers. On Ehlers.
Definitely not on Ehlers. Like he's making way less than he should.
And Niederreiter. Now, Connor and Ehlers were RFA, so we'll see when they get to UFA if there's a Winnipeg tax. But I think it's a great sign that, I mean, we're talking, the best player on their team is Connor Hellebuyck, and he didn't take it. So you can comfortably, if you're Kevin Cheveldayoff, you could say he didn't do it, so we're not doing it for you because you do not bring the value that he brings.
And also, he re-signs in December. Like he re-signed, like basically as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Like this is a really, if I'm the Jets, I'm really encouraged by this.
It's a really positive sign, and I'm really happy to see that. I mean, there's a ton of like really positive stuff going on in Winnipeg. You look at who they have coming. Yeah. Right? You got Rutger McGroarty, Brad Lambert. There's a defenseman that I am...
They have Chaz Lucius as well.
Chaz Lucius. Yeah. And then there's another defenseman that I'm thinking about. It's not Ville Heinola. It's another one. There's a lot. Yeah.
Ville Heinola's been coming forever.
Like I don't even know. But there's a lot of positive stuff going on. And Rutger McGroarty is effectively going to be the Blake Wheeler in terms of like what he brings to the team when Blake Wheeler was with the Thrashers / the early Jets. So they've just Blake Wheeler's out. Rutger McGroarty is going to come in after this year,
like at 1/8 of the price, basically.
It's going to be. I really like the direction. I think Winnipeg has drafted exceptionally well lately, and they're reaping the rewards for that. Now they're kind of showing, okay, like we can retain our guys and we can kind of get moving in this positive direction. Like the coming out party of Cole Perfetti this year has been
great.
I love it.
And he's doing this averaging less than he's averaging like 14 minutes a night.
I would like a Cole Perfetti jersey. I want like the reverse retro Cole Perfetti jersey. I don't want that Air Force one. I think those are super ugly.
The only thing they just like the thing to make this all great is to go back to the old Jets design.
Oh,
they do that, and then like Winnipeg is instantly like one.
Coyotes go back to the old Coyote, like the Kachina.
They do, yeah.
And
it's like the best decision they've made. Literally,
like think about how many people bought jerseys that would never have purchased one. I have one. Like Pete Blackburn has one.
Kaylee Sibley has one.
Kaylee Sibley has one. Like there's a bunch of. I think Kaylee Chung has one too.
I'm sure.
You're going to get people to buy them. If the Winnipeg Jets went back to their Jets uniforms, my bank account information would be on that store so quickly. Like I'd be like, give me it now. Like that's where I'm at with that. In the same way that like once the Leafs came with a better looking maple leaf.
Yes.
God bless Brendan Shanahan for making that change.
Like don't change that. The only change they should make is they should make the reverse retros from last year like a third jersey.
Oh,
they wore them for 2 games.
So nice.
They wore them for 2 games. That's a travesty. One of the games was with the Bourrier patch on it too.
Yeah, I have the Bourrier patch.
Incredible.
So the Jets need to go back to their old uniforms, but it's nice to see though that teams are willing or players are willing to re-sign there and not having them pay a premium because they're a good hockey team.
The good UFAs re-sign like in the middle of the season for no Winnipeg tax because they believe in the city. That hasn't really happened.
They retained Scheifele and Hellebuck.
Yep.
That's a big one.
You know, things are going well in Winnipeg.
Connor Hellebuck would be a New Jersey Devil by now if he hadn't re-signed, because the Devils' goaltending is bad.
It's what's keeping them.
And now they're without Dougie Hamilton
for like potentially the rest of the year. Like torn pectoral, like that's tough. Yeah, and they were missing Jack Hughes for a little bit. Like
Jack and Nico are back doing Jack and Nico things.
Yeah, exactly. But it's tough,
Alex Holtz looks like he's sort of found his footing here, but when you look at it, Jonas Siegenthaler's having the worst year of his career. Yes. They're without Damon Severson, who whatever you thought of him,
they could be using him right now.
8 minutes, and was a net positive.
Sadly, he's out for a while too. He's out for the next 6 weeks, right? So I think at the end of the day,
the Devils are in trouble here a little bit.
Devils are in trouble. We might have to have an interesting conversation about them maybe next episode. But yeah, anyway, so it's the logical end of the podcast, I'd say. But so thank you for tuning in. We will be back obviously on Thursday. We got the latest episode of Mike's Meals for One dropping on Saturday. So check out the YouTube for that. We'll be doing our weekly stream. I will be from here on out. I will be doing the Batman Arkham trilogy, starting with Arkham Asylum on stream. So that'll be fun. We'll be doing that probably Friday or Thursday, depending on which one works.
And also, I'm gonna learn how to play.
And I will bring the old PS5 over here for a fun holiday themed me teaching Rachel how to play video games.
Rachel learns how to play NHL 24. How quickly can the controller break?
Exactly. Also, those are expensive controllers, so do not break it, please.
Damn.
But yeah, so that's all fun. And before we leave as well, Jumpstart, our charity of choice. We love them. Donate, help kids participate in team sports. They very much need that. And sometimes you can't afford it. Jumpstart helps that. So please donate, their charity of choice. We'll see you on Thursday.